Hi guys, in this video I'm going to show you exactly how to get clients with cold email in this cold email guide in 2023. So the first step is defining exactly who your ICP is. So I've mentioned this in previous videos. You want to know exactly who you're targeting. So then you want to know their niche, the location, title, whether you're reaching out to the founder, the CEO, any marketing C-suite titles, anything like that. Headcount, revenue of the business you want to be targeting. You need to dial in exactly who you're selling to. It's going to make generating leads so much easier. It's going to make your copy easier. It's going to make absolutely everything easier because you know exactly who you're targeting. You can become an expert in that sector and you can ultimately charge more money, make more money, and have a better understanding of everything you do. You want to define what exactly they want. So the best place is to start here. You want to look into their fears, frustrations, desires, pain points, and you want to make sure that your solution actually helps them with anything fear related, frustration related, desire related, dream related, or pain point related. So you want to make sure that your solution either makes them money or saves them time. If it can't do one of those things, then it's probably useless and you should probably find something else to serve your ICP with. So just to give you an example of how deep you can actually dive into your prospects' fears, frustrations, desires, dreams, pain points, and ultimately what they want, is that I'm going to show you this document here. So my niche, established marketing agencies. This is how deep I've delved into exactly what they want. And this honestly creates unlimited angles for you to then use in your copy, use in your content, use in absolutely everything. So you can go into huge detail about this. But obviously the best feedback you're going to get is from the responses you get from the market, from the sales calls you conduct, and you can continuously iterate there. Fears, frustrations, desires, dreams, pain points, etc. Also, you want to make sure that they're actually using email. So, for example, if you're reaching out to, I don't know, let's say for example, plumbers, are they going to be that active on email? Are they going to be engaged with it that often? Are they going to be using it? Sometimes, yeah, for sure. But are they going to be more effective outreach channels to contact them on? Probably, yeah, like SMS, cold calling, etc. Because they're not sitting at a desk all day. They're always out on jobs. So obviously make sure that your ICP actually uses email before launching any sort of campaign. One more thing I've got here is to solve rich people problems. So when you're defining your ICP, I would strongly recommend actually making sure that they do have money, making sure that they can afford higher ticket services. And yeah, it's going to make your time so much more worthwhile. You don't want to be saving businesses. You don't want to be scraping the bottom of the barrel with clients. You want to be finding established winning businesses and then just snowballing their effect with your services rather than turning their business around. So the next step here is the actual technical setup of cold email. So when getting started, I would recommend anywhere from 5 to 10 domains. Anything more can be a little bit overkill, and you want to obviously establish proof of concept before you do anything more than that. You want to set up SBF, DKIM, and DMARC on these domains. If you're setting up with Gmail, which I strongly advise you should be, you already have SBF and DKIM on there, and you'll only need to do DMARC. There's plenty of tutorials on how to set up DMARC for Gmail. You want to have a maximum of 3 emails per domain. For a while in the cold email space, there was a lot of stuff going around saying, oh, you can have up to 5 emails. It's changed. It's drastically changed. You want to limit it to 3 emails. Otherwise, if a domain gets banned and let's say you only have 3 domains, you're sending 5. You've got 5 email accounts on each domain. If one domain is affected with deliverability issues, you lose 33% of your sending ability. So keep it to 3 emails per domain. Keep it very simple. 2 weeks warming period. Anyone who has an idea of cold email knows that you have to warm up domains, warm up email accounts in order to replicate human behavior. Obviously, it's going to look very, very weird from Gmail's perspective if you just start blasting 50 emails a day per account as soon as you've created the account. So that's what the 2-week warming period is for. It's just to emulate human behavior and just to behave accordingly in regards to their regulations, because ultimately that's all deliverability is. It's just mimicking human email behavior in the most normal way and getting Gmail to think that you are actually a human and you're not using automated software. You want a profile picture in every single one of your email accounts as well. So when you receive a cold email, I've noticed it so many times with myself when I receive cold emails. You want to know that you're actually speaking to a real person, because if they have a profile picture, you've already gained the human trust, the human element there of knowing that they're an actual person. So make sure that every account has a profile picture. Also, something extra to add in here, make sure that you're saving the logins of every single email account somewhere like LastPass, ClickUp, something like that, where you can actually access every single login, because it's going to be very, very important if you have issues down the line or anything like that. The next thing you can do whilst you're waiting for your email accounts to warm up is create a landing page. So a simple 5 to 10 minute VSL, which stands for video sales letter. So it's literally you in video format going over who you help, what you do for them, the outcomes that you can deliver for them, and ultimately some social proof if you have it. If you don't have the social proof yet, you can continue to talk about what you can do for them and just leave it out. But once you get it, it's going to be extremely important for you to leverage to create sales assets, to show your dream prospects that you can actually deliver on their ideal outcome. On that landing page, you also want the headline offer stating who it's for, how you can help them. You just want your offer ultimately at the top of your landing page, and then you want the VSL under, and then you want a call to action. So it's actually very similar to a cold email in that sense, because you've got your offer, you've got the value proposition, which is the video, and then you've got the call to action at the bottom. So landing pages, they really don't have to be complicated. You can use something like Card to create it. It's about $19 a year, and you can create unlimited landing pages. Anything like that, it's really easy. That's how I do it. Next thing on the agenda is scraping and cleaning the leads. So with regards to scraping the leads, there's 3 key softwares that I tend to use and we use for our clients: Apollo, Use Artemis, and Sales Navigator. The go-to one here is going to be Apollo. Although it's used by literally everyone in the space, and especially if you're targeting saturated markets, then the leads can get very, very saturated and they're used to being reached out to frequently. So I would take Apollo with a pinch of salt, because you know that the leads on there are going to be being targeted quite a lot of the time. But with that being said, there are definitely niches that are more untapped than others that you can reach out to that don't receive the same frequency of emails. And ultimately, if your offer is good enough, if your copy is good enough, if your presence outside of emails is good enough, then you're not going to really run into any problems with Apollo. But some solutions to get around how frequently some saturated niches are used with emails on Apollo: you can use Artemis, which is really good. There's a lifetime deal on AppSumo that you can use, and you can use Sales Navigator and some external plugin. I like to use Sales SaaS, which basically grants you the ability to scrape Sales Navigator for emails. In terms of cleaning, the next thing you want to do, obviously after you've scraped the leads, is you want to make sure they're suitable to actually reach out to. So the 3 most common email cleaning softwares that we use are Million Verifier, Bulk Email Checker, and Email List Validation. They're all really good. I would say the most effective one is Million Verifier. It's extremely quick. It's quicker than it's slightly more expensive than Bulk Email Checker and Email List Validation, but it's so much quicker. It's slightly more expensive, but it's so much quicker. So Bulk Email Checker and Email List Validation. I believe Email List Validation has a great deal on AppSumo, but it can take a while. And if you're really looking to do things with speed, I would recommend using Million Verifier. Once you've scraped and cleaned your leads, the next thing is writing the copy. So I've outlined some of the things that I think are the most important things to keep in consideration when writing cold email copy. So it starts with your subject line and the preview text. You want to make sure the subject line invokes curiosity. So ideally, it's something that's going to make them think, oh, what's this? It's a bit of a pattern interrupt. Usually subject lines are quite long. Hopefully it's going to stand out in their inbox as quite short. You don't want to keep the subject line too long. Ideally, you want to reference their first name, their company name, or something like that. And the sole goal of the subject line is literally just to get the email opened. Next thing is keep it extremely short. You don't want it more than 100 words maximum. You don't want to overuse pointless words that just aren't necessary. Genuinely, with cold email, the way you should look at it is every single word. So write out your script and then look at it and think every single word that doesn't add something of value to this email script, remove it. So if you're looking at a word and you think, does this actually need to be there? The answer is probably no. So You want to keep it extremely concise, about 100 words maximum. You want to plug it into a text. I think it's called like a it's called like a reading time generator. So essentially you can plug in your email and it will tell you how long it takes to read it. You want to keep it below 15 seconds ideally. Obviously it can depend when you're reaching out to more sophisticated people, but that's generally a good rule of thumb to use, is about 100 words maximum. In your cold email copy, also you want to address a fear, frustration, pain, desire, dream of the prospect. So you want to make sure it satisfies a problem they're struggling with. Ultimately, otherwise you're not going to get a response. A strong call to action. So you want to actually make sure that they have a reason to respond. They've got a question to respond to. You can keep it soft, you can keep it hard. It really depends what you're going for. Just make sure you have some sort of call to action that isn't overusing jargon, that's really simple, such as mind if I send more info, mind if I send a video across. Just stuff like that, essentially. Are you free for a call at 8 a.m. EST? There's ultimately tons and tons of call to actions that you can use. Just make sure your one is articulate, make sure it's clear, clean, and not overusing jargon either. Also, you want to invoke curiosity. So the only reason a prospect is going to respond to you is if they're curious about what you're offering. So always think of it from the perception when you're writing a cold email of how can I make them curious about what I do. Never go into too much detail. Never ever mention price. Even no matter how much they ask for it, never ever give it away before you get them onto a call. It completely disregards any reason for them to get on a call with you. So you want to constantly make them curious throughout the whole process. Obviously, you don't want to not give anything away. You want to give details away about your service, but you don't want to make it too in-depth. You want to still keep an element of vagueness to it. Also, put yourself in the prospect's shoes. So really, really think, if I was my ideal prospect, if I was running the business that I want to target, how would I react to this message? Really put yourself in their shoes. Assume that this is the 30th email that they've received today. And how can your one be different? This is going to set you apart from so many people because no one is doing this. Also, you want to clearly articulate what you are offering. I see so many people go into so much different technical jargon and stuff. You want to make sure that a 5-year-old can understand your email. Keep it so simple. Make sure that anyone will be able to read it and understand exactly the solution that you're trying to provide. And yeah, keep it clear, keep it clean. Social proof. If you have social proof, throw in an example of a client you've helped. Keep it short. Ideally, you want, we recently helped client X achieve this in this time frame. That's ultimately the formula that most people use. Social proof is going to help you massively, but it's not absolutely necessary. But if you do have it, I'd recommend putting it in. Personalization. Obviously, you want to ideally reference something that the prospect has done. So whether that's a personalized compliment, referencing a post, referencing something on their website, something on their LinkedIn, it helps to break the ice. It helps to set you apart from the crowd. And if you've really done your research, then a personalized message is really gonna get you some crazy results. If it's truly personalized, it's not some generic first line like, oh, hey, I love what you're doing over at company name. Like prospects, they got loads of emails like that. They can genuinely see straight through that. Make sure it is truly personalized. With personalization, I'd recommend either going all in or not doing it at all. You want to make sure you're actually getting out good lines, because if there's a chance that the prospect can see straight through it, then you're just shooting yourself in the foot. Spin tags. So obviously this is crucial for deliverability, and it's also going to help you. You can also test your offer. You can test different ways of putting in social proof, call to actions, etc. So spin tags is going to be extremely important here. If you don't know how to use it, there's tutorials online that you can look up. Basically what it is just allowing yourself to test different variations of your copy in the same email. So for example, you can spin tags, let's say hi, hello, or hey, and it's going to randomly send out an email with either hi, hello, or hey before their first name. And it's basically going to increase deliverability. That's just because that every email that you send out will be slightly different because of the different combinations that I can have while sending out the email. Another thing is to send things of value and offer things of value. The law of reciprocity states that if you give something valuable to your prospect, they're going to feel like they need to give you something in return, which is ultimately, in most cases, a sales call. So if you give them something up front, they're going to feel like they are obligated to give you something back. So whether that's a PDF, a bit of content explaining how they can do something better in their business, try and be valuable to them, trying to offer value, and it's going to make them actually want to get on a call with you. Also have a clear signature. Make your signature clear, concise. Make sure it says the company that you work for, your address, your phone number, and keep it professional. Don't put any crazy links in your signature, any crazy profile pictures. They're just going to affect deliverability. Just keep it extremely clean and simple. If a prospect really wants to find you, which they are going to, they're just going to put your domain into a new tab on Google. The next thing is launch and testing. So once you've written your 3 scripts, you've got 1,500 clean leads. I would divide those 1,500 leads into 3 500 batches and start sending with 3 different angles. So right off the bat, you want to be sending 5 emails per day per account. You can increase that by 5 each week until you get to 50. Once you get to about 20, actually, you can increase it by 10 each time, but ideally you want to ramp up sending volume, because even if you've warmed your domains for 2 weeks straight off the bat, if you jump straight off the bat into 50 emails per account every single day, it's going to look a bit weird. It's really not emulating human behavior at all. So you want to continuously slowly ramp that up after you've finished the warm-up period. From those 3 scripts, you want to find the best angle. So what is the best angle from that? What has given you the highest response rate, the highest positive response rate, the highest amount of meetings booked? From that best angle, you want to iterate and you want to write another 5 scripts, which are based off that angle. And then from there, you can find the best winning campaign from that, write another 5 scripts, find the best campaign from that, write another 5 scripts based off the best angle, and literally keep doing that. Continuously iterate on that. And once you find a true winning script that meets all the benchmarks, is giving you a high positive response rate, it's giving you a high meeting booked rate, you literally just want to go all in on that. So you want to buy, let's say, 10 more domains, you want to warm up loads more email accounts, and you just want to pump volume into that script because you have proof of concept, you know what's working, so you can just double down on that. No script is going to work forever. You're consistently going to have to iterate scripts. The minute you get complacent and think, oh, I'm just going to let this one run forever, I'm not going to try anything new, is the minute that you start to fall behind. So you want to consistently add new scripts, do everything in regards to that. And that's all cold email is. It's literally just iterating on your offer, iterating on different ways of wording things, and then increasing volume when you have a winning script to use. Okay, cool. There was something else I wanted to say, but I think I've forgotten it. Okay, cool. So the next thing that I wanted to get on to was any extras. So you've really got to think that when a prospect receives an email from you, what are they going to immediately think? They don't know you. You're completely cold. Like, they're like, who the hell is this reaching out to me? So the first thing that they're going to do is ultimately they're going to look at your email. They're going to look at your subject line. Then they're going to open your email. They're going to look at your profile picture. Then what they're going to do is they're going to take your subdomain. They're going to put it into a new tab on Google. They're going to check out your website. They're going to look through your landing page, look through your VSL. That's why it's so essential to have a compelling website or landing page. Then they're probably going to check you out on different online platforms like Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. LinkedIn is probably going to be the big one. They're going to check out what you look like on LinkedIn. This is why you need an optimized profile on LinkedIn. Ideally, you want content. Ideally, you want a capped amount of connections, 500 plus connections with a good amount of followers. You want to have a clear headshot of your profile picture, an offer in your bio stating exactly what you do, who you help. You really want to make it look like you actually know what you're doing and you're professional. It goes a long way. YouTube, ideally, you're posting out content. Twitter, ideally, you're putting out content. These aren't a necessity, but you just want to look at least professional on LinkedIn and on your landing page. Like it says here, prospects, they're going to research you. It's completely ignorant to think that if you just send out a cold email, they're not gonna look at anything you do. Some of them won't, to be honest. Some of them will just respond. It depends what the prospect is like, but It's going to drastically increase your whole cold email efforts if you do actually have an online presence. So that is everything for this video. I've not really got anything else to talk about. This has been it. This has been the cold email guide of 2023. If there's any questions you had in regards to this, guys, just put some questions down in the comments. I'll get back to every single question that you have. There's a lot of things that I haven't covered here, but this is just the basics. This is just the basics of how to get out a campaign, how to scale it up, tips for writing cold email copy, and so forth. So yeah, that's everything. If you are an established agency owner making more than $50,000 per month in recurring revenue, and you have existing happy clients, you are prioritizing growth over the next few months, you're looking to bring on new clients, you have existing case studies, then there's a link to book a call in below with me where we can help you consistently bring on new clients. Don't worry, I'm not going to pitch you on the first call. It's purely just a call to get to know each other, get to know your problems, and I'll present you with some solutions for those problems. If you're below 50K a month and you're an agency owner, then there's a link below where you can book in a call with me directly and you can talk to me about anything related to acquisition. Perfect. That's everything, guys. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video.